Hello everybody and thanks for tuning in. Welcome to week number 6. Week number 6 of our distance learning experiment. It's good to have you back. We've got 3 really important things that we'd like to accomplish in this video. The first thing that we'd like to do is talk a little bit about the grading policy that has been emailed out. There are some changes that I want to make you aware of. The second thing that we want to do is talk a little bit about how last week went and kind of where we're headed in this new poetry unit. And then the last thing that we're going to do is get into the calendar like we normally do, and that'll take us to the end of the video. So let's get started. I'm making this video on Saturday, and you're probably watching this video on Monday, which means that there are probably some changes to the grading policy that are being made like right now, this very second. So I don't need to get into the specifics of this new grading policy because you're going to get an email, your parents are going to get emails, and everything will be described clearly in the email. But if you have any questions about the new grading policy, feel free to drop a question in the group chat, let me know, and then we can talk about it that way. What I do know is that when we left on March, I think 13th was the date, that was our last day of class at Berkeley High School, you had a grade in the grade book. That grade is like a threshold. So anything that you do beyond March 13th, beyond that day, it can only help you. Okay, so not completing work, missing a week or something like that. That's not going to drag your grade down. Now the upside is that any work that you complete during this time away in the kind of virtual learning space can only help you. And this is a great advantage for people who maybe needed to improve their grade. So again, every week that you're completing work, you're getting a boost in your overall semester grade, a boost of approximately 1 to 2%. And if you consistently do the work, you could stand to significantly increase your overall grade. Okay, point number 2 on our agenda today is to talk a little bit about how last week went. Last week we started a brand new unit in poetry. If you haven't had a chance to read the poetry calendar introduction blurb on the website, do that because it's filled with a lot of really good information. Helps to kind of lay the groundwork for what it is we're doing and why we're doing it. Last week, hopefully we had a chance to read Billy Collins' poem Introduction to Poetry, which is pretty cool. And hopefully we also had a chance to write a point of view poem of our own using some of those poetry terms that we posted online. What we want to do this week is continue to complicate this idea of what a poem is and what a poem can do. So we want to take those terms from last week, we want to take a lot of the ideas from the poems that we looked at last week, and we're going to continue to apply them this week as we work on our own stuff, our own poems, and then we answer some questions on a poem that we haven't seen before, by a Michigan-born poet, no less, which is pretty cool. Okay, so we've talked about the new grading policy, we've talked a little bit about what last week looks like and how those skills will inform what we do this week and next week. Now, let's get into the calendar. Okay, this is week number 6. So for Monday's class, what we want to do is find a poem of our own. Now, you can find a poem anywhere on the internet. If you have a poetry anthology in your house that you want to flip through, check it out. All of that is good work. But you're going to be completing an assignment that's posted on the website called the Found Poem Assignment, which basically just asks you to read your own poem, respond to some questions, and then post your thinking to Turnitin.com. That's Monday's assignment. Now for Wednesday's assignment, what you're going to be doing is completing a close reading poetry assignment. What the close reading assignment asks you to do is read a little bit about a biography of a famous poet named Theodore Rutke. He was born in Saginaw, Michigan, of all places, and you're going to be reading one of his poems called My Papa's Waltz. It's a very powerful poem, and yeah, so check it out. It's really good. So you're going to be reading some information about his life, you're going to be reading the poem itself, and then you're going to be taking a lot of these essential terms that we talked about last week and applying them to Rutke's poem. Now, when you're done doing all this work, you're going to upload your work to Turnitin.com, and then that's going to be it. So these are the 2 big assignments this week. Monday's class, you're going to be completing the Found Poem assignment using a poem that you find on your own. And then for Wednesday's class, you're going to be completing the close reading poetry work assignment. And this is based on the life and poetry of a poet named Theodore Rutke. So that's what this week looks like. Thanks again for hanging in there. If you have any other questions, concerns, feel free to reach out to me directly or drop your question in the group chat, and we'll be sure and respond to it there. Until we see each other again, be good to yourself, be good to everybody else, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.